What is this foolishness?
How many dreams can you shape in a minute, an hour?
The kind of clean you like best.
Lost 3 of my teeth, too. All right, so you lost. Next time you'll win.
Steamy, hot, hearty, delicious, invigorating.
Folks at home, how you doing tonight? Welcome to Ike Live. This is a very, 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 very special Tuesday edition of the show. I know you're used to seeing us on the weekend. You're used to seeing us on Saturday nights and Sunday nights. And we don't do a show on Tuesday unless big things are happening. And let me tell you, big things are happening tonight. I can't even wait. I'm going to give it away real quick. Huge guests with us tonight in studio. So proud to have him here. We're going to talk to him in 1 second. Mark Zona coming in on Skype tonight. Kevin VanDam. And a special appearance by a mystery guest around 7:30 p.m. I don't want to talk about that right now. Let me start this show by thanking our amazing sponsors. And as you know, Ike Live is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, which is Mystery Tackle Box. Man, if you want to have Christmas every month, subscribe to Mystery Tackle Box. It's unbelievable. We're also brought to you by TH Marine, and we're going to be looking at a really cool TH Marine product tonight called a Hydrowave. Killer product. We're also brought to you by Flambeau. And we've got, let me tell you, listen, watch the whole show tonight. If you're sitting there and you're thinking, I'm going to tune in for about an hour and tune out, watch the whole show. We are giving away some killer Flambeau utility boxes tonight in some contests that we're running. We're brought to you by Hobie Kayaks. Man, kayak fishing is changing the world. If you haven't tried the pedal drive system and a Hobie, you're missing out, man. It's hands-free. We're also brought to you by Liquid Mayhem. Dude, it's the best scent on the market. You can use it for bass, catfish, walleye, perch. You can also use it as cologne if you're single and trying to pick up chicks. We're also brought to you by Tackle Warehouse. Listen to me. Everybody I know on tour, all of them, they shop at Tackle Warehouse. And finally, we're brought to you by Fishity. Fishity.com. What a great social site. Go there, check them out, check out the mapping. It's a pretty amazing site. Let me start the show before I go through the room, and I want to, as we always do, I want to thank our military, men and women in the military, active and veterans. Guys, thank you for what you do. It's a crazy freaking world. Shout out to the police, firemen, and EMT. EMT, we might need you tonight. And on that, sitting to my right, the co-host of the show, the crust of the show, Pete GLUSZEK. How you doing tonight, Pete?
I'm doing good.
Good to see you.
I'm glad we've been talking well about the EMTs for all this time.
We might need them tonight. And let's just tell everybody, this is a live show, and we're real here.
We're exposed.
Yeah, we are exposed. You hadn't been feeling great lately. You're feeling shitty.
A little under the weather.
Yeah.
Yeah. Went and checked it out.
Yeah.
And the doctor wants me to investigate a possible blood clot situation.
Yeah.
So.
And that's dangerous. I got to tell you real quick, I can relate to that because last year I had a this weird blood clot thing going on in my leg. So I know the severity of that and what that can lead to. And that's why they're always freaked out. If that is even a possibility, they're like, dude, get your ass checked out immediately because that's a dangerous thing.
Yep, it's dangerous. It's very dangerous, and that's why people at home, people here in the room, educating everybody tonight. In case something happens to me, it's 30 compressions and 2 breaths. we're doing a quick CPR lesson.
And keep the cameras rolling.
Wait, who's the volunteer for that?
I don't know.
I think our special guest. I think our special guest needs to do the CPR if it happens.
Do it even if he weren't sick.
And on that note, let me introduce you. I got to tell you, man, my phone's ringing too. I don't know if I should answer it. It's my daughter. I'm not going to answer. I'm going to let it ride. I got to tell you, we've got. She's going to be mad. She's probably watching. We've had a lot of special guest in here.
I think she said Mike on Cross Your Legs or Dad on Cross Your Legs.
I know. I don't care. Whatever. We've had a lot of guys sitting on this couch, and man, I am so stoked. I got to tell you, we've had athletes, celebrities, we've had other pro anglers, and nothing against the other pro anglers. We've had some great guys in here. Mm-hmm. But man, I'm stoked to have this guy in the studio, which makes it more special. And we're going to talk a little bit about why he's here, because he's here for Ike Live, but we're doing some other stuff. We're going to get into that. Joining us live tonight on the casting couch, Mark Zona, everybody.
Big Z.
If you ever do an intro like that again, I will cry. Listen, I am a hardened softie, Mike.
Wow.
That's right.
Unfortunately, we're so backwards, we don't even have a close-up of the casting couch, or we could show it here.
No, I like it. Here's what's interesting is, in Sturgis, Michigan, my kids, Hunter, Jacob, big fans of Ike Live.
Yeah.
I kind of here's what's ended up happening for me walking in here.
Yeah.
I now get to put everything together in geographical order of this room.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie. There was some intimidation walking in here.
Wow.
It was.
This room has been known as the shrine to Mike Iaconelli. Brian and Becky have called it my shrine.
If you don't mind me saying, us Italians usually have a shrine. Why don't you stop by my house?
We have two. Italians usually have two things: a shrine and a lot of fountains and statues outside. Do you have any fountains or statues?
No, but I will be dead honest with you. If I got home and my kids spray painted my Z logo on the garage, I'm okay with
You're
that.
cool with it.
Because then one of them would do it.
Well, dude, we're stoked to have you here tonight. By the way, I want to let everybody know, I was bartending early on tonight, and I poured Mark a drink. How is that drink?
Well, I'm not going to lie.
It's pretty bad, isn't it?
Here's what I can tell you is, here again at home, we're fans of Tito's. And I walked in, I'm like,
yes.
I said, there's a signed bottle of Tito's, man.
Yes.
Let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan.
And we are drinking Tito's. And this is a great time to talk about it. We want to send a giant shout out to the folks at Tito's Vodka and the man himself, Tito Beverage, for sending us some of this vodka. We love it. We've been enjoying this here at Ike Live since day one. But this is a special bottle. Bri, is that as close as we get? That's as close as we get. Okay. This is signed by the man himself to the Ike Live crew and me and Becky. And Tito, we appreciate that. This is going to go up in our cabinet on the top shelf. And if we could keep Brian, our producer, from drinking it when he's half tanked about midnight tonight, this will stay there forever. So thank you for that. Great vodka.
So what is the beverage of choice for Big Z?
I am. I'll be honest with you. One of our friends sent us a mutual bottle.
Yeah.
Woodrow did.
Yes.
Ours lasted, I think, 4 days. It made it through one cottage weekend. But trust me, we've refilled it with water.
Yeah.
It's back on the menu.
Absolutely.
But I'm big. I'm big Tito's and pineapple juice.
Tito's and pineapple. Splash of pineapple.
It's not that masculine, but I run with it.
Hey, I'm crossing my legs, so who am I to judge? Let me continue with the introduction of our room tonight, and the man that makes the magic happen. We give him a hard time all the time, but he's getting pretty good. I got to be honest with you. He's getting decent.
These shows are well prepared every time out of the gate.
Yeah, I mean, we've got scripts. Stuff's actually working the last year.
Right.
I mean, I'm pretty impressed. Our one and only producer, Brian the Carpenter, a.k.a. Ding Dong. How you doing tonight, Brian?
I'm good, man. Outstanding.
Good to see you. You doing okay? This is a big show for us, dude. Are you...
I'm so stoked.
Dude, let me tell you something. I got to give it away. I know you're going to get red and embarrassed, because Zona, especially Zona's looking at you.
He's looking at me.
I stopped by your place the other day, and we were freaking like schoolgirls thinking about this show.
I know.
We were giddy,
It's
dude.
my guy right there.
Yeah.
It's the MVP of the day of the week already.
Dude, we're guys in our mid-40s geeking out about a freaking web show, like it's Wayne's World or something. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's so stupid.
By the way, I'm drinking Tito's and Liquid Mayhem.
And Liquid Mayhem. You're adding some Liquid Mayhem to it.
Yep.
Okay. And sitting next to Brian in the booth tonight, handling the IMs, is the very beautiful, the very lovely Rebecca Iaconelli. How you doing tonight, Beck?
I'm excellent. Hi, everyone.
Good to see you.
I'm
Okay.
back.
We're not letting you off this easy. Who are you wearing tonight?
Anthropology.
Anthropology. Wow. Okay, Anthropology, if you're listening tonight, we'd love an Anthropology sponsorship.
Mike would love the Anthropology sponsorship just so he doesn't have to keep paying for my
I would
clothes.
love it so I don't have to keep paying. Pete would love it because he likes smelling the panties right off the rack.
Off the rack?
Yeah, he just smells them right off the rack.
That's scary.
Is that true, Pete?
No, that's not.
Okay.
That's not true.
And let me mention also, we do have 3 other guys that are walking around tonight. You're going to see them, and they're great guys. We've got Wes, Kerry, and Tom. They're going to be walking around. You're going to see them. You're probably going to see Wes's ass at some point during the show. It's a really fine-looking butt for a guy, I got to tell you. And he's going to be doing a little filming. And let me jump right into it, because this kind of gives it away a little bit. Z, you're here to hang out. We're doing Ike Live. We're hanging out. This is great. Dude, to get an opportunity to hang out like this is rare for us. Because we're like dogs out there working so hard.
Yeah, you know, and what's kind of weird about that is since we've started doing Bassmaster Live, really the only time that we see each other anymore is the Classic.
Yeah.
I was talking to Becky about that it's weird that we've worked so close together for the last decade,
yes,
11 years, that now the only times that I get to talk to you is when you're in the top 5.
Yeah. Is that weird for you? Because I want to talk about the live thing, but do you miss being at the events? Do you hate being, not hate, but do you miss being away from the event itself? You know,
really the only challenge, Mike, has been, and this is verbatim what we were talking about before the show, is we've worked together for 10 years. A lot. Your guest later on, VanDam, a lot. And I know this sounds strange. We've gotten old together in a weird way.
Yes.
And here's the disconnect that I do feel is in the last 2 years now that you know, we live in studio now, Sanders and myself, is there's been a new crop of anglers come in, and I'm not talking the Justin Lucas's or Jordan Lee's. Those are like veteran young guys. But there's been really, really young guys that I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's made it a little bit of a challenge to just, you know, call some dude up that's in the top 5 and be like, hey, it's Mark Zona. Tell me exactly what you're doing on the water. You got to kind of... You and I can talk like that, and you're like, "Oh, screw off." Literally,
I've said that. I have said that a bunch of times.
I wish you and I could have taped a few of our conversations. No, but we have a rapport together.
Yes,
we have a rapport together. Even when you've worked with us in Bassmaster, we have a communication because you and I have known each other for 15
years. Sure.
To just call a dude on the phone and be like, all right, give me the goods, dog. You know, we got a camera with you. You kind of have to go at some of the younger guys with kid gloves, so you don't, you know,
spook 'em.
You're not a bull in a china shop, you know, even though we're also in a hurry to get the rest of the content for the next day. So that's been, in a short Cliff Notes, no, I don't miss it, but yeah, I do from a sense of working with the guys I've grown up with.
Are they intimidated when you call these guys? And we're not going to name any names. When you call this guy's in the top 5, he's a rookie, he's a new guy, or he's been fishing for 3 or 4 years, and it's the first time he's in the top 5. Are they intimidated when they pick up the phone?
I called VanDam, and he was intimidated as hell last week when I called him. No, you know, a lot of them are really, really, really like what I'll always say is, you know, your Justin Lucas's and guys that fish FLW. They're very polished and they're very used to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I'm not going to say intimidated as much as not used to the process. I think a lot of people think, all right, I did good on day number 1 or I did good on day 2. I'm going to go work on tackle for 3 hours. No, you're not.
Yeah.
You're going to answer your phone for about 3 hours.
Yeah.
And that's it's a big burden, man. It's a lot of weight.
It is. It is.
And you spend so much time when you're doing well in a tournament. You're apprehensive about
There's no doubt
who you're talking to. And are they on your
yeah.
team? Do they have a hidden agenda with another pro? And that's got to be running through their mind too.
I'm sure. Yeah.
You know what's been really weird about that, and a lot of that comes with the presence of live too now, is where, you know, guys want to hold their cards close to their vest. I don't blame. I got a vest on. And I get that. I understand that side of it. And here's where I'm at with it, Pete. Tell me what you want to tell me. Tell me what you don't want me to say. And Mike knows this. I'm here to help you do what you need to do, but tell me something that you don't want me to say so I don't hurt the situation, because I think in the last 11 years I've been very protective of that, but we also got a weird transition going on now that we're all on.
Yeah.
And I understand it to where, I mean, look, man.
On at all times.
On at all times.
Yeah.
And look, there's I'm not going to name their names, but there's a list of certain anglers I'm just not going to call them. I'm not going to call them.
Right.
I know that when I talk to them, it's going to be cliche-isms until Sunday.
Yeah.
Right.
Cut pace. Excuse me.
I could keep going.
Cut pace. I don't want to interrupt you, but I want to break into something, which is because, you know, I know personally we've dealt with this, and I'm okay to talk about it because I want to be truthful. This is live. How do you deal with it every tournament, calling somebody, and I don't want to say lying because I don't want to call people liars. I don't want to call myself a liar, but they're deceptive about the bait and the brand. How do you deal with that?
Well, in all honesty, you and I've worked together on this.
Yes.
And here's the gig for anybody that watches the Bassmaster show. Whenever you see an angler, and you see he was using exactly this bait, that angler was cool with you saying that bait to where it wouldn't get him in trouble with said company that he's sponsored by.
Right.
It took a long time, mostly on the foundation of what you and I have gone through together, where I would just say, Mike, you know, if he was not using a sponsor-friendly bait, I don't want to get him in trouble.
Yeah.
I also don't want to lie to the viewer, but I want to stay true to the game. Dude, if it's a suspending jerkbait and it does not fit your sponsor list,
you put it generically.
It's a 5-inch suspending jerkbait. We put it very, very.
That's a good.
I hear
that's
you.
That's a good way to handle it.
I hear you tap dancing around this issue a lot on live. You do a great job with it. You know, it appears you say that a lot. I don't know exactly what it is. It appears. It appears to be a suspending jerkbait.
It appears.
Yeah, maybe
maybe a strike king. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. But I really think in the 10 years, I really believe this. In the 10 years at least of the television show working with Sanders, we've never missed it.
Right.
Now there have been times where we had to stay vague because that angler said, "Just please don't say this."
Right.
And we won't.
Yeah.
But as many of the nuts and bolts as we could give, we would give.
And it happens on every level. You know, we're talking about the Bassmaster Tour here, but let me tell you, our very own Brian the Carpenter lies all the time. You know, he only fishes club tournaments, federation stuff. You know, he's a small time tournament guy.
Are we going there, dude?
We're going there, and he lies every tournament about the bait. He'll say he's using a Rapala hard bait. He said he's using a Stanley jig.
Yeah.
He's using freaking live bait every time. Right. He's a live baiter. Look at him back there. He's using night crawlers and live shad.
Mike, I'll bring up the top rod days.
All right, I want to talk about it. Let's change the topic. I'll just bust your balls. Let's let everybody in on it a little bit. I know. I won't say anymore.
Right, good.
We're here to do Ike Live, but we're here, and I want to let everybody know how excited I am about this, but I want to get into the history of this a little bit. We're here, and I'm getting to film with Mark on a show after all these years. I'm so stoked. And we've tried, and I want to put I'm going to announce it publicly here. I'll announce it to Wes too. It has been my fault. Mark, I have you here. I'm looking at you dead on.
I'll cry.
I apologize.
I'll cry.
No, seriously. I've been a total dick. It's been my fault.
See, I appreciate that.
No, I'm serious. It has nothing to do with you. It was me. It was me and my
What
issues.
was the problem, Mike?
You got to ask Becky. I got a lot of stuff going on in my head, dude. I got real problems, man.
You got problems.
I got real problems. You know that dog incident and all that? Dude,
I know.
it runs deep, Mark. I got problems. It wasn't you at all. So I am so freaking excited that after all these years, we're finally getting an opportunity to fish together.
This is a true statement, what I'm going to say to you. Number one, you and I got a lot more seeds to sow. Okay, it's just not this whole show situation. This is no joke. We've been very fortunate to have, Kevin's going to be on here in a little bit. Kevin's been a guest every year.
Wow.
But there's if you look at it, on my Facebook, if I go do a seminar, people have said, when are you shooting a show with Ike? My reply always is, get on his Facebook and tell in all honesty. And here's the it's a positive and a negative, but a lot of us have become a victim of our schedules.
Yeah.
I mean, we were going to tape up at Thousand Islands 4 different times.
Yeah.
Here's the other side. I also get when you don't have a tournament, y'all got a family.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you
I
get it.
that.
Oh, gosh, you get it.
I mean, you made me drive to your backyard to do a show this
Dude,
week.
I know you get it because you're on the road probably more than us with with your show, with what you do for Bassmaster. You're on the road more than us, so I know you get that.
I get that.
And it's tough. But I'm glad we're finally here. And let me tell you, I'd like to be the yearly guy as well. I'd like to be a yearly guy like
Becky,
that.
does he mean that?
I do.
Yes.
I do. I would love to be a yearly guy.
I will be here every May. And I said this before the show started. I'll be like, what about Bob? You'll see me in the back in your pond, literally bathing.
And
That
back, I told him you would put him to work in the garden. He said no.
No, I don't work.
You don't dig dirt holes?
No, if you, my wife, Karen.
You didn't see 6 trees sitting out there?
Karen's watching
They gotta
right
go in
now.
tomorrow. You don't get to launch till they're in the ground.
I don't do shit. I really
Karen,
don't.
we gotta talk.
So, did you work out a little something, on the back end of this
What do you
show?
mean?
Doing the Z show, little. I mean, what was it? Was there bribery? Getting something on the back end?
Actually, I'd like to answer that. I'm a grudge holder. I make no mistake. I make no mistake about this. This guy is.
We didn't know that from the Boy Duckett incident.
No. Whatever.
All right, keep going.
You are a grudge holder, and what's interesting is we have what I hold a grudge on more than anything in the world is when a lake shits on me.
Oh, dude.
Okay.
Dude.
I remember one that you were involved in, a tournament at Buffalo, an Everstar tournament, that to this day, I will sit with my wife, and she doesn't listen to a word I say about tournaments the way they used to be. I'm like, that tournament in Buffalo, Karen, I was really, really, really on them. And I think I caught like 1 the first day. After you weighed in last year, I talked to you like a week or two later, and you made a comment. You said, come back here in May.
Oh, dude.
You were pissed.
I'm pissed. I'm still pissed. I'm going to... As you're saying this, and I know, look, Pete's chuckling over there. Dude, I am still mad. It's like been over... How long? It's been almost a year. I mean, it's last year. It's old news. And Becky and I have this rule when we're tournament fishing. How long do I have to sulk on something, Beck?
1 day.
I have 1 day,
One day.
to sulk on something.
Went longer for that one,
Yeah,
didn't it?
besides when you bay.
Brian like that.
When you bay wouldn't
Besides
die.
when you bay, because I'm still sulking about that one too. I am still crushed by the Upper Bay. And I told you this on the phone. Besides the Delaware River, I consider the Upper Bay, dude, it's here's the Delaware, here's the Upper Bay. I know it, dude.
Right.
It's my hand. I love my hand. Look at it. Look at that hand.
Who doesn't?
I love that hand. I used to be a hand model. I love my hand so much. That's real too. I'm not doing that. And it hurt, dude. It hurt so bad. But and I'll get you to talk about this, on home fisheries, dude, it could be the best thing in the world, like on the Delaware River, or it could be the evil freaking stepdaughter and kill you. And it did in that tournament. So I'm happy to have revenge with you the next couple days on the Upper Bay.
I got to inject this. You and the film crew need to be prepared for what you're about to get involved in out here on the fly.
What are you talking about?
Whoa. Positive in, negative out. Positive in, negative out.
Hey, we filmed a Going Ike show on the Upper Bay.
We did?
In November, Mike and I. And
Challenging time.
the first hour went by without a bite. Everybody's cool. Things are cruising. The second hour goes by, and flashbacks start creeping in from the Bassmasters tournament. By hour 3 without a bite, it was wide open, rod breaking, frustration, furiousness.
Do you see Wes Miller, cameraman for the Zona show? Don't say shit like that in front of him. Please don't say things like that in front of him.
So what you guys need to do is get on your best spot and get the skunk out of the boat right now.
Well, here's the great thing. I'm traveling light tomorrow, Pete. I'm in Z's boat. The camera equipment's not mine. I don't have that many things to break. I'm only going to carry about 6 rods. So if I break all those, I'm going to start borrowing Zona's equipment.
You
so
do
who
what
knows?
you need to do to get this show done, champ.
All right, let me before we switch gears here, Mark. Let me remind everybody. Listen to me. You are a big part of the show, and we want to hear from you. Lots of ways to interject in this show. Lots of ways to comment. If you have any questions, man, we want to hear about them. Hit us up right there next to your screen on our IM board. You could also hit us up on our social media feed, which is Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Ike Live Show. Let's switch gears. Everybody that sits in that couch, Mark, we always ask a little bit about how they got into this crazy sport. And I know a little bit about your background, but I want to hear it from you. Tell me a little bit about, I want to hear about your childhood, growing up, and how you got into fishing. How you fell in love with the sport. Because you're very, very passionate about bass fishing. I know you are. How the hell did it happen growing up where you grew up? Because that's not, I mean, it's not Philly, but it's not a hotbed of bass fishing.
The south side of Chicago.
That's what I'm saying. That's not a hotbed.
No.
Tell me about it.
I have a vibe just from talking to you that we really a lot of us come from the same background. My parents had a little cabin on the the southwest corner of Michigan, and I'll never forget this day. I mean, listen, man. I could still paint the weather. I could still paint the pontoon boat that I threw next to. But I remember my dad looking at me, and we didn't even have a boat at the time.
Yeah.
He said, "Look, there's a bass under every single one of these pontoon boats around the lake." And as a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, you're not hearing them.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget this. He said, "You need to get your bait alongside the pontoon." And I was throwing one of those. Remember the pre-rigged 6-inch purple worms with a white stripe?
Oh
with
yeah.
hooks.
Oh dude.
And I had a spin.
Icon worms or creme worms. Yep.
I had a spinning rod that was the base was about that big around. Eyes were that big, and the spinning reel is about this big, right? And you'd think that damn thing would cast about 200 yards. And he couldn't cast from here to your couch out there. And I threw it next to that boat, and I watched a 12-incher, which might have been in my mind, it was a 15-pounder, come out and grab it and swim back under the boat.
And you saw that. It was visual.
Visual. I saw the whole thing with my eyes. And then what happens is you're like, there's 600 more pontoons.
Yeah.
So that kind of happened, and then I started fishing tournaments when I was 9, and I'll never forget this. The very first tournament I fished is we fished in the southwest corner of the state, really from where I live now to where Kevin lives. We fished dogfight tournaments, 50 to 70 boats back then on a 1,000-acre lake.
Yep.
And I remember showing up, and the guy I was with, man, he had patches, and I was like, well, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
Yeah.
The guy did not know anything. And it took me like an hour. I was like, wow, you have no clue what you're doing.
You're clueless, man.
He caught one fish. I caught one fish. We won it and one big bass. I remember the baits we caught him on. I was 9.5 years old. But we won $2,600.
Wow.
But if you're an Italian kid from the south side of Chicago playing Little League, you retire that day. I was done.
Yeah.
I was done.
can appreciate that.
And what's funny is from there, it just, I kind of believe in the way you fish tournaments, there's a stair step.
Yeah.
There's a localized, a regionalized, a AAA-wise, and then there's what you fish now.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people leapfrog that.
Yeah, and that's a mistake. And
That's a mistake.
we've had that conversation before, Pete. A lot of very successful pros have done it that way, the stair-step process. We talk about it all the time. And that's the way you did it. That's the right way to do it, isn't it?
Well, I
In
think
your
so.
opinion?
I think it develops the experience level that you need to be successful under the multitude of conditions that you're going to face, dealing with the heavy pressure and all that kind of. It prepares you for that stuff, and if you skip it, you can get caught with your pants down out there in situations that can really hurt you.
Pete, I'm just the kind of person, if you get your teeth kicked in by your Tuesday night club, you know what these assassins are? I mean, really, that's the God's honest truth.
Yeah, you're not ready.
Well, you were a very competent, successful tournament angler. I mean, you had some big successes in tournament fishing.
Wasn't my deal. Wasn't my deal.
And we have. I mean, we fished together a bunch of times, right? Through the opens, the ever starts. Dude, I know this, and I'm just going to call you the plate. This is live. This is what we do here. Dude, you could absolutely hang out here with the best. Don't say nothing yet. You're that good. I know you are. Dude, you could hang. You could catch them as good or better than anybody on the Elite or the FLW trail. Do you ever, just sitting here right now, do you ever have any regrets about not taking that route?
Third time I might cry, Becky. Third time.
I was troubleshooting. I totally missed the comments.
It's okay.
Was there live?
It's okay.
Are you all going to
My
hug it
answer
out?
will be shallow anyway.
Mark's going pro.
0%, man.
0%.
I got to tell you something. When I stopped fishing was when I was doing my best in tournaments. The last tournament I fished, I think I took second or third at a Bassmaster Open on Champlain.
Yeah, you almost won.
I remember that one.
I remember.
And that was the very last tournament. Great businessman. Wow, I'm doing good. I'm done. What's happened was my shows with Wes and Carrie and the camera guys. That's my tournament now, and it's not. Here's the thing. I am not a. It's not like, man, I'm going to go out with Iaconelli and I'm going to catch more. No. My show is, let's get this going.
Yeah.
Let's do this tomorrow. But my show is my tournament, and the other side of it is, and I mean this, and this is not a sappy. Jerry McInnes and Mike McInnes and Tommy Sanders, dude. To have done the Bassmaster for 10 years, that's my Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
I remember watching Larry Nixon in 1983 on the Ohio River on the TNN.
Yes.
And I have not missed one since that day.
Yep.
And to have done that, look, when my kids are done in college or something like that, will I fish a few more tournaments? No, I won't. In all honesty, I love doing. And here's the other side: is I know that my show's not for everybody. Your show's not for everybody.
Right.
But you do it your way.
Yeah.
And I got a hell of amount of respect for that. That's what my show is. If you like my show, I'm going to try harder to make better shows.
Yep.
If you don't like my show, do not watch my show.
Yep.
But to me, my tournaments are my show.
Yeah.
And the other side is, I will tell you one thing that does keep me up at night. And I've talked to a lot of the camera guys about this. When you invite Bren Ayler, Aaron Martins, Greg Hackney, Kevin VanDam, Mike Iaconelli to be your guests, you better bring it. Because here's how I look at that is, if they come on your show and you're out there just a complete, they won't come back.
Right.
They're not going to come back. That or they're going to come back and make fun of you. But those are that is one thing that all I want to do is people to watch my show now and have fun with it.
Yeah.
See a different side of you. See a different side of VanDam, and say, man, maybe I learned something today, but more than likely I didn't. You know.
And I got to tell you, it's an amazing show. I'm still a fan of fishing shows, and I love your show. Your show is one of the best ones out there. But here's the
I saw the first episode. I didn't know if you knew that. Yeah, one of the original episodes of Mark's show occurred at the bar after one of the tournaments.
Yeah. Hey, what?
Wow. And you remember this.
Yeah, what one?
I think that was the time that we met. You know, we knew of each other, right? And we were both coming off a tournament we didn't win. I think we were having a cocktail,
Right.
And I was entertained. I think I spoke 2 or 3 times during the 30 minutes we were there, but it was quite a monologue.
I think you remember my old roommate, Tom Dolan?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That explains my behavior for 5 years on the road.
And, the thing I was going to add, too, like taping your show, you're tournament fishing during the show. I mean, essentially, you're figuring out the patterns, right? Like, because what we're going to do tomorrow, and I want to let everybody know, and we talk about this. This is dead honest truth. Dude, we're not running 250 waypoints tomorrow.
No.
Dude, we're going to go out there tomorrow, and we're going to figure those freakers out tomorrow. And we're going to figure the puzzle out. Dude, to me, that's the magic of fishing. Whether you're fun fishing, tournament fishing, taping a TV show. Dude, that's the magic that's going to happen tomorrow.
That's
me
how
and
we do the
you
show.
are going to figure them dudes out tomorrow.
That's how we do the show.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which makes for either a really, really good shows or really, really bad shows.
I'll slip some waypoints to the camera guy.
Okay. Feel as free as a bird.
Yeah.
And I got news. If you collapse, I will get your back to get those waypoints.
Let me remind you, we want to hear from you. Brian the Carpenter, how we doing back there? Everything good? Our IM's running. Hit us up on the IM. We'd love to hear from you. Let's switch gears. I was going to say this for you, but I want to get into it. Brian, what do you got for me?
Kevin?
Is Kevin ready to come on already?
He's ready.
He's ready.
Listen, I want to
Okay.
tell you the coolest thing.
Yeah.
We've got people in Germany.
What?
And
I can't hear you, Beck.
Oh, my bad.
Say it again.
Damn you, Brian.
I blame
Coolest
Tito.
thing.
Yes.
Today, we have people in Germany watching.
Germany?
And there's somebody on their lunch break in Hawaii watching.
Wow.
I got married in Hawaii. I really did.
International.
I
We
got a
haven't
lot of
done that
friends
yet.
there.
We still have to get married in Hawaii.
I'd like to do that. I'd like to marry you in Hawaii, Beck.
Let's do that.
I'd like to lay you there.
It's a lot of fun, my friend. He's such a hot mess.
Well, hey, listen. We have Kevin. Is Kevin ready?
I'll call him.
He's ready. He's had a crazy day, and I know he's fitting us in.
Okay.
So we might want to do this sooner than later.
Okay. Let's do Kevin. How many minutes away, Bri? 2 minutes away.
I'll call him. It's going to be phone only.
Phone only?
Yes.
Okay.
Are there bass in Hawaii?
Yes,
Yeah, there are
is.
bass in Hawaii.
There is, yeah.
Jay Yellis
Yes.
won an All-American
Yes.
in Hawaii. I don't know if you knew that.
That's right. What is the only state that does not have bass?
Alaska.
That's correct, sir.
Thank you very much. They have grayling.
Wait. So in Hawaii, are there like just fresh natural lakes, or are
yes.
they like volcanic lake crater
Yes.
They're
things? Or
crevice
what?
lakes.
Right.
Crevasse.
Big crevices.
Isn't that what Clear Lake was? Same thing.
Same difference. Same difference.
They all
No,
have
wasn't that
meth heads
volcanic?
around them.
Wasn't that?
They all
Oh.
have method.
They really do.
They do.
I was
But one of
asking
the
a real
most
question.
pretty places in the country.
It was a real question.
Weirdest place in the country.
Weird. Clear
Weird.
Lake is amazing.
Should
it's
I
beautiful.
post that as an IM
Lot of
question?
meth.
Then you might answer it.
Weird.
A lot of meth. All right, let's get Kevin on when you're ready.
Give me 2 minutes.
Okay. And we'll wait till Kevin's on before I was going to ask this. I have a couple strange questions I want to ask, but we'll wait till he comes on here. And let me remind everybody, man, I want you to stay tuned all night. The show's only going to get bigger and better. We've got some killer contests, and after Kevin comes on, Pete, I don't know if you know this, but we have another special surprise guest joining us.
I heard.
tonight.
We got a surprise coming.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Now, I can't tell you if it's a male or a female, or even if it's person. It could be an animal.
That's exciting.
It's very
It could
exciting.
be an
Really is.
animal.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Could be an animal.
I was going to ask you about Bassmaster Live.
Have at it.
I mean, that is awesome. Right? We're all enjoying the Bassmaster Live thing. I can't do anything when you're doing that show, and that
you
kind of
can't.
pisses me off. Like if I've got,
You can't do
if
anything.
I've got
You're
lawn,
glued to it.
my lawn to cut,
He texts me during it.
I do.
I can't do anything. I'm like, I start trying to do something, and then I got to look back and watch the guy catch no fish for 15 minutes. I just
You ought
can't.
to sit there
last
for 317 hours with me.
Oh my God!
The last one was brutal, man.
It was rough.
Rough.
It was rough.
I know
Okay.
it's so fascinating to watch the guys not catch them.
All right, we've got him on the phone right now, joining us live from home. Believe it or not, guys, he's home for a change. The one, the only, the recent winner from Toledo Bend, Kevin VanDam. Kevin!
KVD.
Man, you guys are something. I was on the way home from the grocery store and listening to you guys, and oh man, you bring back a lot of memories, man.
We're trying to get deep here tonight, Kevin. We're not letting Z leave this couch tonight until he actually sheds a tear. Do you think he will cry for us tonight here?
There's a good chance he'll cry, and there's a better chance he'll sing because.
Oh!
Oh, we love singing.
Wow!
Sing right now.
You have to. You have to make sure that he's got a cocktail in front of him if you want him to sing, because it takes several.
It's funny because, Kevin, as soon as he got here, I asked him what he wanted. He had a special request. I poured him the cocktail, and I poured it really big and stiff, and I noticed it's empty already.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gone.
That intern kid's been sucking on it.
There's definitely a thing called the Zona pour, and there's you'll never go to a restaurant or a bar that pours at that level. So.
Let me jump right into it, Kevin, because we're not going to keep you all night. I know you got a lot of things going on. Here's the obvious one I want to hit you with, and I know you've probably been asked this one before, but I want to know personally. Man, very impressive win at Toledo. I got to see it. I got to watch on that final day live. Where does that one rank? Man, you've done it all. You've won everything. You've been in the sport. I don't know what else you could freaking do. But then you win again. Where does this one rank? Does this one rank up there, in the middle, at the bottom?
No, it's at the top, and you of all people know that because you've been around a long time and you've had a lot of success too. And I think at times you may take it for granted, but in this day and age, and you know it because you live it every day just the same as me out there, that it's hard to win anymore with everything that's going on and the level of competition that's there. So when you get an opportunity to be in contention going into the final day, it's a big deal. I mean, making the top 12 is a big deal. And, you know, to be able to have everything come together, you know, it's special because you don't know. I mean, I don't care who you are or what kind of streak you're on, and we've seen it. You know, you've watched a bunch of guys get on those kind of runs. Zona, you have too. We all have. You just don't. You can't turn that on and off, and you don't know when it's going to happen again. But you know, in my mind, it's crazy because after the fact, like I had like 300 text messages. I didn't realize that I was that far gone at that point. Well, in my mind, I you know, still thought I was you know, in the game pretty well, but apparently a lot of people had written me off at that point by the text messages I got.
They had, and it's a great segue. And Zona, I want to get you in on this too, dude. So I don't know that I don't want to sound weird and everything and nothing about this, but I creep on a lot of other guys' social sites just because I like to. I you know, Z, I go on your social site. Kevin, I watch yours, and dude, it's amazing how many freaking haters like instantly turned on you, Kevin, the last couple years. Like, you know, Kevin who? You know, like, oh, he's done. And I got to ask you, because I deal with it. Z deals with it. Does that bother you? Does that eat you up? Do you feel? Do you want to just give him the middle finger? Do you want to? You know what I mean? Like how?
Or do you feed off of that? Does that fuel you?
Well, I don't pay. Honestly, I don't pay attention to it. I have learned you can't. You know, because that's the worst thing about social media is it gives people a platform to speak their voice when they're just being nutso. And I mean, you've seen that plenty of times too. And it's not the majority; it's the minority. And yeah, I mean, I hate. It bothers me when anybody says anything bad. You know, one thing I can say about you, Mike, and you've seen me too. I mean, usually we're one of the last two people at a weigh-in signing autographs with kids and things like that. Yeah. And I mean, that's one of the things I've always appreciated about what you've done. And people can say a lot of things, but we're very passionate about what we do. I know I fished with you like in the very beginning. You know, we fished at Bugs Island that time when you were just starting out, And I knew right then. I mean, I could tell that you had that it factor that that it takes to do well out here. I mean, you have to give it 180%.
Yeah.
You have to love it. I know where I know your background. Zona's the same way. I mean, you grew up in South Side of Chicago. You grew up in the city. I mean, fishing is, your life. I mean, that's all Zona wants to do when he's home. He fishes more than you or I both do.
Easy, little cowboy. Easy.
But it's funny how I can say that all three of us are a lot more alike than you would ever imagine in that. I mean, when I grew up, I went to my grandparents' every summer. I stay there. I fish from dawn till dark. My grandma had to ring a bell just to get me to come to eat lunch. I mean, it's just you're either born with it or you're not.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes at this level. And I've been doing it a long time. You've been doing it a long time, and we're very passionate about it. And people can say what they want to say at times and all that. But the one thing that I appreciate is I appreciate that pure passion. Whether it's Mike Iaconelli or Mark Zona or Kevin VanDam or Greg Hackney or Aaron Martins, everybody's different and unique in their own way, and it's so tough to win at the top level in the Bassmasters anymore. I mean, that's why everybody wants to be there. I mean, we've got this mass exodus from the FLW Tour every year, and the Opens are packed full, and college fishing is huge. My kids are. They're graduating this week, and I mean that's their thinking right now. They're like, "Oh, it's college fishing," and it's amazing to see how the sport has changed and grown. And I'm just glad to be a part of what I think is the best era in professional bass fishing.
I'd agree with that, and I'm glad you brought up about your kids graduating, because this is something that I don't think a lot of our viewers know. But Kevin, Mark. We all three of us have something in common, which is we have kids that are getting older, growing, graduating, and we're getting old. I said it. We're getting old. Mark, we're getting old. Look.
I'm not getting old.
We're getting Mark, you're getting old. Don't look at me like that.
I told your mom upstairs. This is a true story, Kevin. When there's an Elite Series tournament, my mom always obviously asks, how's Kevin doing? Just because Kevin's family, and she always says, how's that little Italian boy doing? Which is you. She always asks that, and then I tell her, and I'm like, Mom, he's not that little, and he's not that young anymore. He's not an Italian boy.
Kevin, do you feel old? Do you feel old now that you're watching your kids graduate and go on to college? Do you feel old?
It concerns me. I mean,
Great answer.
I still think I got a few good casts left in me. I don't feel old, but you look back at it, man. I mean, like this is my 26th season competing professionally.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't seem like that at all. That's crazy to say, but I've had a lot of fun with it. I mean, you can't do it at this level if you don't absolutely love it, live it, and dream about it every day. I mean, and I know that's how you are. I've seen it since day one, and there's a lot of guys that you've seen come and go just in the time frame that you've been out there, and it's what it takes, and I see it, and some of the newer guys that have come out there, but it's interesting to me. I mean, I'm a fan of the sport. I mean, the last few years have not been what I'm accustomed to over the years, and I've watched it, and I've watched the transition of the live coverage and done a lot of the commentating at the Classic and things like that. When I missed it, it opened my eyes to the other world and bass fishing, and just what a big deal it is, and it's just amazing to me, and it's really exciting to see the growth, because it hasn't been that way for very for a lot of years. We haven't had this influx of young anglers,
right.
But to see the high school programs grow the way they have, and college fishing grow the way that it is, and all these kids, they're at the Classic, they're at these events, they're all in their jerseys, they've got sponsors, they're polished, they got resumes, they're looking for sponsors, you know, they're shooting GoPro videos, they're on YouTube, they're doing all the things the right way to be a professional. To me, it's really exciting, and I just hope in some way, and I know that we've all inspired some of them in certain ways. And I mean, they might be a Mike Iaconelli fan, they may be a Kevin VanDam fan, they may be a Mark Zona fan, or Aaron Martins, or Justin Lucas, or whoever. But it really doesn't matter as long as I just like to see that passion in these kids, and it's the first time in the last few years that I've seen that in my career to the level that it is.
Yeah.
And that tells me the future is really looking good for bass fishing.
I agree. Mark, did you want to say something?
Kevin, are you spearing frogs in the background while doing, or are you turkey hunting outside right now?
So I flew home from, I left my rig at the Strike King office in Dallas last night, and I got home late last night, and I woke up this morning, and I have not had a day off in, I say a day off, I mean a day off from getting up at 4 something in the morning and going to bed at 10 at night for 2+ weeks. And there's 4 toms in the backyard this morning. It's a beautiful day here in Michigan. The bass are spawning all over. I mean, the bank of my pond is they're everywhere. And it was just nice just to not have to get out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning.
And I don't think a lot of people realize that. What you're talking about, Kevin. You've been on the road for weeks and weeks. I have, Z. I don't think a lot of people realize how much travel is involved in this sport. Not just in the tournament fishing, but in all the other things we have to do. And that actually leads me back to what we were talking about before. We've all got kids. They're growing up. They're gone out to college. And I know this answer for myself. But I want to ask you, Kevin, and Mark, weigh in on this too. Kevin, do you look back and regret missing things with your kids that fishing took you away from?
No question. This week, the boys' swing out when they actually graduate is Friday. Their award ceremony is next Friday, and I wasn't going to miss it. I've already, I talked to Boyd Duckett about renting his plane a year ago, just saying, hey, there's, whatever I got to do. I don't care if I got to miss a tournament day. I'm not gonna miss that. But we miss a lot of things, and my kids have grown up with it. We put them on the road when they were still on oxygen. Less than a year old. We'd have oxygen delivered to the tournaments and stuff. I mean, they were preemies, and it was really interesting because today is the day 19 years ago that we brought him home from the hospital. And Mark, he knows exactly what I'm talking about because he went through the same thing 2 years later. And we had a pretty special day here with the Children's Hospital here in Kalamazoo, the Bronson's Hospital, where the people that took care of both his and my boys when they were born. And they've got some new technology, and we helped them through our foundation and with us to help other families go through that same process. Because unfortunately, we were there today, and there's 50 separate rooms at the NICU at our local children's hospital, and it's one of the best in the region, and they're full constantly. So it's just like they do a lot of miracles there, and it's something that's close to us, and it just brought back a lot of memories and things like that. So I was able to get home today on that anniversary of the day we brought him home from the hospital.
Wow,
19 years ago. So it's pretty cool. I know you do a lot of things too. You started your own foundation. We did several years ago too, and I've got a local kids camp here that's actually on the lake that my mom and dad live on. That they do a lot of great work with underprivileged kids to give them their first fishing experience ever. So we really worked hard to take their fishing program to the top level, to where people get the same opportunity, the same experience that all of us had as young kids, and it changed my life. I know it changed every one of us here, and how we are and the people that we are and what we do today. So, it's just one of those things that, that I have the opportunity to do, and Sherry's passionate about too. I know you're the same way, Mike. It's a big deal.
It is. It is. I mean, I think it's the ultimate way to to give back. You know what I mean? So I know you feel the same way. Beck, I see you getting antsy back there. Do we have IMs coming through? I'm sure it's lighting up. Do you want to shoot a couple to Kevin real quick?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that you guys touched on and now seems to be a very interesting topic on IM is all about age, and if you guys feel like you're still as aggressive as you were as an angler, 10, 15 years ago, and how long do you think that can hold? That was a conglomeration of about 5 IMs in one. That's
a good question.
Mike, I'll let you hit that first, and then I'm going to tell you my take on it.
Yeah, I can tell you this. In my mind, I don't fish any different or feel any different than I did when I drew you, Kevin, at Bugs Island. I feel the same. But let me step back and tell you that, and I'm not a psychologist. I'm far from that. In fact, I'm the patient. I think somewhere deep in your mind, right, when you've won a lot of when you've done a lot of the accomplishments you wanted to do, you've had a lot of you had goals and you've accomplished them. I think somewhere deep down in your psyche, you might not want it as bad, and that's just a guess.
You lay up a little.
You lay up a little bit. And I think that's human nature, right?
I think it's low testosterone.
It could be low testosterone. It could be low T. I might have to call Byron later and get some tea sent to me.
Gerald and Terry Scroggins, all those guys are on the tee shots.
Right.
See, that's what happens when I'm not on the road.
I knew it.
I don't know any of these things.
I knew it. I was wondering why Gerald's hair was falling out.
I would hammer that like 5-hour energy. Guaranteed.
Yeah, Zona's next in line. I would say, and Mike, you say you'll understand this too. I mean, the more experience that you have, the more you get set in your ways, and the more hard-headed you get about, when you show up to Toledo Bend at this time of year, Gunnersville in March, or Wheeler, or wherever it is, places you've been, the more history you have, the harder it is to keep a solid, a true open mind.
Yeah.
When I was younger and, less experienced, I didn't know any better. You just show up and do what you do and fish your strengths and really understand the conditions and fish in the now. I mean, we've all said it a million times, and I think it's hard. I mean, experience is a great thing because when you use it properly, it can really be helpful, but it can also hurt you. And I've had that happen, and I think that's part of the reason why, in the last few years that I've had some inconsistency. I want to win, and I take big chances, and sometimes when you do that, you're going to end up with big failures. I mean, you're going to miss the mark by a while just because you're so hard-headed, and the guys are so good now that you have to allow time for a pattern to develop or things to happen, and then it's too late. You can't come back. I mean, the level of competition is definitely a lot higher than it was even 3 or 4 years ago in that sense, and you just can't make those mistakes. And the difference in a few lost fish, and I guarantee you can look back at this season, and a lot of these events are really, really close, and it's just 1 or 2 missed opportunities here, and it's a big difference of where you're at in the points.
It's huge.
Because I promise you that's the way it's been for me.
Yeah.
And that's just the way that it is now. And, it's good, bad, or indifferent. Because the sport's growing, the competition's growing, and it's no different than the NFL or Major League Baseball or the NBA. I mean, you've got to be really good every night, every day to be at the top of the game. Otherwise, it's going to show. I mean, it's just the way that it is.
Yeah,
Kevin, the thing that worries me about you in particular, we're talking about getting older, is the way you fish. I mean, you're the most aggressive angler out there. You're the ultimate power fisherman, slinging 10XDs for 4 days straight.
Too much work. Too much work.
It's hard on the body. I remember listening to Larry Nixon say he changed the way that he fished. He doesn't fish that way anymore, and he wins tournaments now throwing a Texas rig worm.
Yeah, well, Kevin's not going to do that.
Are you going to do that, Kevin?
No, I can promise you. And you know what? It was great last week because I got to the last 2 weeks actually. I got to talk to Tommy Martin, who's one of the guys that really helped me in the beginning of my career. One of the guys that I really look up to. And Larry both, and Larry was at the TTBC too. Yeah. And Larry it was interesting because he said, "Man, I watched live the whole weekend," and then he said, "I just wish I could throw that 10XD." And I just, I work really hard at it. I'm not saying that I'm the most fit guy out there ever, but the one thing that I do is, I make sure to stretch out every morning before you go, and you don't go out and make your first cast a 70-yarder with a 10XD. You gotta warm up just like a pitcher would, or a football player, or anything else. And knock on wood, I've been really fortunate. I haven't had to deal with tennis elbow or carpal tunnel or shoulder issues or anything like that. That being said, I mean, there's no doubt I'm not 21 anymore, and I can tell the difference. But I can still go and jerk a jerkbait for 7 days straight in a smallmouth tournament, or go throw a 6XD, or that 10XD. You learn with age to be more efficient, to make sure, and our equipment's gotten a lot better. I mean, I've got the right rods and reels and things to make all of that a whole lot easier to do and stuff. But I kind of got to see that at Toledo, that I had a lot of local pressure around me. And they can drag a Carolina rig with the best of them. I can promise you that. They'll dang sure catch them. They'll clean your holes out pretty good with that. But you can still catch them with the 10XD and things, and there's just not everybody can do that. So
yeah, I want to interrupt because I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad what you just said, because I had this on my notes, and I know we're not going to keep you all night, but this is a big one that I want to talk to you about. And I want Zona to weigh in.
Alone,
He's
Mike.
already grinning. I want him to weigh in on this too.
I've already got in trouble for this.
This is my honest opinion, Kevin, and hear me out on this, is that the culture, I'm not saying it's not like incidents here and there. The entire culture of bass fishing fans is changing, and it has been changing in the last 5 years. I can tell you this. Every tournament that I've fished this year, I've dealt with more locals fishing around me, fishing as I'm fishing in the same spot, fishing after I leave, aggressive, and I'm not talking about, an older, tired guy that lives on the lake, or a guy fishing with his kids. I'm talking about a dude by himself in a rat boat, a dude with a tournament jersey on by himself.
On a Thursday.
I believe the culture of the fishing fan is changing. We talked about all the positives of the advancement of the sport, and there's a lot, but that's a big negative. Do you think that's happening? Do you think the culture of the fishing fan is changing, and they think it's okay to be out there fishing on the same day as a national tournament?
Well, you know what? It's public water, and everybody has a right to be out there, for sure. But there's always that guy, and I've got a ton of fans that are out there just trying to root you on. But there's some that, and you see it on social media too, there's some that are out there trying to maybe hurt you too. And I thought that live really was going to change that. I think it's because the live coverage is so good. You're better off, if you want to learn, you're better off to watch Bassmaster live than you are to be out there in the water 50 yards away. You can see more on live than you can then. But
that's a good point.
There are those people out there, and it's just like anything else. It only takes one bad apple to spoil the whole whole bushel.
That's what really upsets me, though, and it has me really frustrated, is that I felt like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago, you'd run into a bad apple here and there, but dude, There are 50 bad apples every time we show up now. And, you know, and again, dude, I get it. It's public water. You know, they have the right to be out there. I get that. But listen to me. If you're a fan of the sport, if you're a true fan of the sport, why are you bringing your rod? Why are you fishing 4 days out of 365 days? We're asking you to leave your rod at home. Why? And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to answer my own question. And because I've interviewed enough of them. They want to catch more than you, Kevin. Z, they want to catch more than you.
Doubt.
They want to see.
There's potential. Judy Israel could be on the flats with us tomorrow.
She might be out there tomorrow.
Terrible.
She wants to catch more than you. You know, I mean, that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that the culture of the fan is changing, and it's becoming acceptable for them to fish, to fish a spot that you leave that they know you're coming back to. They feel like it's being acceptable, and it's just a dick move, you know?
Well, you know, there's lots of times when you're out there fishing, and it's a spot that they've fished before, but you know as well as I do that there's a ton of them that they're following you to steal your spots. They're trying to learn the lake. They're trying to, especially on these structured tournaments where it's offshore. I mean, we see it at Gunnersville, Kentucky Lake, Toledo, places like that all the time. And you know, Sherry tries to keep me grounded. Well, you know, I talk about it at night, and I'm like, hey, this is going on. I'm concerned about it, and it was a big concern last week there, but. The thing that I've always tried to do is, I mean, you manage it the best you can. I've always said this: you got to worry about the variables you can control and put the ones you can't control out of your mind. That being said, you have to be aware of that. I mean, I know that I have to save extra places when I go to tournaments like that.
Yeah.
That you know that I got to have for Saturday or Sunday, and a lot of times you can't. Like at Toledo this time. I mean, it was so rough in practice. You couldn't practice the way I was fishing. You just couldn't. You couldn't even idle out there without your boat bouncing around and waves over the front. You could. I mean, your electronics didn't give you a great reading because it was so rough. And that probably helped me because the field didn't get to fish that way.
Right.
But on the weekend, man, the pressure on the water. It's challenging. It's something that you have to deal with now. That. It's not fun for sure, but it's part of it.
Would you agree
I don't
though?
know the answer.
Would you agree though that if you're a true fan of professional bass fishing, that you wouldn't be fishing out there on the same day as Elite? Would you agree with that?
The true fans aren't.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for backing me up with that, because you know, I mean, Becky tries to keep me grounded too, but I can't help but to call him a dick and give him the middle finger. That's just what I do.
Yeah, well, you two, hold on.
You know?
The other side of this is you two command, hold on now, you command 90% of the spectators. Okay? That's just a fact. Mm-hmm. Kevin, you guys divide, you know, 90% of them, and then there's 10% that goes to some of the other guys in the top five. But here's the other side, gang, is a lot of that comes down to intent. All right? Hey, man. You know what? If I go out and watch Kevin VanDam on the lake that I live on, or Mike Iaconelli, and they're in the top five, am I going to accidentally drop a GPS so I can come visit that in 2 weeks? Of course I'm going to. Mike, we all would.
Right?
Yeah,
we all would.
Absolutely.
But here's the other thing. You going to show up on day 3 or day 4 and fish with that guy that you did? It comes down to that intent.
Yeah.
And the other side is, what you talk about cannibalizing is when you leave spots or Kevin leaves spots when the cockroaches or the vultures come in.
They just fish.
To fish
Sometimes
till
they don't
dark.
even wait till you leave.
To fish until dark. Right. I don't know, man. To me, it comes down to if you are a fan of what you said, a fan of fishing.
If you're a true fan of the sport.
What are you thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, why?
And the other side is in the last 4 years, a lot of the spectators tend to try to police that BS.
Some do. Absolutely. Do. Our very own Brian the Carpenter has done that at events.
Yeah.
The other side is...
Try that shit in Philly.
Well, note to self, make sure you've got a squad behind you. But what I'm saying is, I agree with that. If you're a true fan of the sport, What are you thinking?
Yeah.
Isn't Bassmaster Live helping police that though?
Here's
I
what
mean,
I've noticed
isn't
about
that outing these bad guys?
You'd
Pete,
think.
here's what I've noticed about Bassmaster Live. That buddy, that Lil Cowboy out there that's doing that, he does not want to be seen by the camera. He tries to stay out of our camera's way so he's not embarrassed on one of his forums he gets on and brags about. He really he does. He tries to stay out of all harm's way.
Right. Wouldn't that be cool if you guys had a special camera boat that ran around to Ike's and Kevin's holes when they left?
Out them all.
Here we got 15 guys converging on Kevin's waypoint.
Hey, we actually thought about putting a camera up last tournament when guys leave. What exactly we're talking
a drone.
about.
Put a
I think
drone
it's great.
So
It's
people
beautiful.
know, so you have a clue what exactly
Yeah.
happened. Hey, in the long story short, that has gone on. I don't think it's the last 3 years, bud. It has on certain bodies of water.
Yeah.
It's gone on since the. I mean,
It's
Forever.
happened a long time, but it's getting worse and worse and worse every year, for sure. Kev, we're not going to keep you all night, but we are. Beck, do we have any IMs? Because we're going to end this in one thing. You have one more IM you want to throw? Kevin, I see you. Did you have something you wanted to throw him? Or are you good? I can't hear you anyway.
I'm answering questions and getting in fights. I'm
Okay,
sorry, y'all
getting
are
in fights. Okay, so
conversing amongst
Kevin,
yourselves.
we do this with a lot of our guests, and I think last time we had you on, we did not. And so, since we have Mark sitting here on our casting couch, we're actually going to get Mark to do this Ike Live segment that we always run.
oh my God.
I thought it's great. And we have this really fun special segment of the show. It's called the Ike Live Rapid Fire Questions.
Let's do it.
To ask you these 6 questions tonight is our very own Mark Zona.
Oh, I am all in. Where do I start here?
Okay, there's 6 questions. You can start number 1. And the spelling might be wrong, so you just have to peel through that.
Kevin, rapid fire questions for Kevin. That was redundant. Number one, besides family, friends, and pets, what is your most prized possession?
Ooh.
Probably my gun collection.
Ooh.
Well done.
Don't mess with Kevin. He'll shoot you.
Oh, he's got a good one, too. He really does.
Okay, question number 2.
Number 2. Really?
You gotta ask him.
Byron Velvick is working on a new color for the Livingston Lures hardbaits lineup. Is the name of the new BV prototype Fame Whore, Disappearing Ghost Shad, the next Caitlyn Jenner, or Mule Master? It's got to be one of the 4.
Oh my God!
Could you repeat the
Nothing
question?
shocked me with Byron, dude. You could,
Let's go with 1 just for the hell of it.
right?
What do we go with? Disappearing Ghost Shad or Fame Whore?
Fame Whore.
Oh, okay, Fame Whore. Okay.
Stop it.
All right, question 3.
When you drew Ike as a partner during the 1998 Kerr Reservoir Bass Invitational, were your first thoughts, who is this dude from the Lost member? Is this dude from the Lost member of ZZ Top? Number 2, oh no, did I just draw an escaped convict from Rikers? Oh no, another dick from New Jersey. Wow. This dude is a bad motherfucker. Sorry, Hunter and Jacob at home.
I would go with the last one. I knew he was for real.
Yeah. All right. Like that answer.
Oh my God.
Oh,
All right, keep going.
Oh.
Question 4. We got 2 more.
let's go to 5.
Come on, Mark.
It's been widely reported that Dave Lefebvre has another job. He is involved in between tournaments in his other profession. Is he an emergency on-call plumber? That's why he drives a plumber van, in parentheses. He
I
played.
would go with that one.
All right, yeah, that sounds good, Kevin. Good job on that. On to number 5. Thank you on that.
All right, number 5.
Kevin, number 1. Well played, my old friend. Kevin, I am reading these sweating because I'm looking at the next ones.
I wish we could zoom in.
Have you ever referred to Zona as fudgy? And you must answer this crisp, almighty no, or you betcha. Cripes almighty.
Cripes. You betcha.
Sorry. I went to community college.
No answer.
Moving on.
He said yes.
He said yes. Okay.
If you were single and enjoying life and found out that you and another two anglers...
Thank you, Kevin.
No, Kevin,
shut out.
Share.
I couldn't hear that.
All right, you ready?
Oh, my God.
If you were single and enjoying life and found out that another tour angler shared a woman on Tinder, would she be considered a community hole or no? Kevin, these are not my
community.
He's laughing.
Oh, gosh.
Wow. I got to tell you, you guys did well, and Kevin, you scored well on
Why
that.
would you do? You set me up, bro. That's horrible.
We ain't done.
Oh man, that was awesome. I so wish you would have asked the other Lefevre questions, but that was awesome. No. Was that the single most uncomfortable thing that's ever happened to you?
I don't sweat like that very often, but here's what I can tell you, Kevin. You cut me off in the nick of time.
Ah! Good job. Good job. Kevin, let me, from the bottom of our heart, let me tell you, thank you. I mean, you got home today. You had a big thing at the hospital. It's the first time you've been home in months. Thank you so much for carving out some time for Ike Live. And congratulations on your Toledo win.
Congratulations.
It was awesome.
And Kevin, we are celebrating.
You guys, and you guys have some fun up there at the Bay. I think that would be pretty good. I've never been there this time of year. I've heard a lot about it, but should be good.
Kevin, as I understand, we're going to be celebrating the weekend on the pontoon. Just make sure everything's in line.
That is the plan. Hopefully we get good weather. You know, I mean, all of us, you know, we look forward to our family time and that, which Zona's family. It's probably a good thing, Mike, that you don't live real close to us, because it's a good thing that Mark and I live as far apart as we do, because if we
it's
were
only
like
30
10
minutes
apart, it would be a real problem. But hopefully we get good weather this weekend and we can hang out. You know, I mean, the boys graduate and his boys are getting close to that, so we're going to have a good time for sure.
Yeah,
get a couple days R&R in before Bass Fest.
You guys will. It'd be dangerous if we all live close together. It'd be a lot of empty
call
beer.
you
There'd be
and
a lot of
ask
empty
you 5
beer
questions
cans
on Facebook Live this weekend.
Please do.
Yeah, no.
Kevin, thanks for joining us.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Kevin VanDam, everybody.
Have a great night.
You too.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Can I ask you a favor?
Sure.
Can I take these questions and frame them?
Absolutely.
In my
we're definitely going to let you take this.
Oh, my gosh.
And by the way, I got to tell you, I can't take all the... I take some of the credit for some of those questions, but our very own Dave Brodzik, a.k.a. Fathead, a.k.a. Wharf, who's watching tonight from work. Dave, we miss you. Thank you for the questions. You made Mark uncomfortable. You made Kevin uncomfortable. You did your job. Thank you, Dave Brodzik.
Hi, my name's Dave Brodzik. Welcome to hell. I'll be your host.
That's awesome. All right, let me remind everybody, please, I know you've been firing it up, but please keep tuned to the show. A lot more big things going to happen tonight. We've got lots of ways to get in touch with us, including IM and at Ike Live Show. Yes.
All right, everyone sit tight in this studio. We have one thing to go over while everyone listens to a fabulous musical interlude.
Okay,
but
so
stay put, because we've got to go over something real quick that we need to come back with.
Okay.
Flambeau.
Yes.
Let's do that now.
Well, don't you want to do the musical interlude and then come back?
I love that. I love
We're having
that.
an argument in the booth.
Oh, that is so Zona show right there, actually.
Okay. So we're taking a break? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. We just need to...
No. We're not taking a break.
Did you change the...
Okay.
I like the funky music, though. Dang.